ahead and just let you know that, hey, this video is not going to beat around the bush. I am going to offend somebody, and I'm probably going to upset somebody. I'm going to probably piss you off too, or you want to go ahead and just unsub or whatever. And that's cool, but you know what? Like, I've got to put it out there to put the truth out there, okay? And what I feel is the truth. And there are some proven facts, okay? If you don't like what I say, you and don't believe me, you can research it yourself, okay? With that said and done, let me say thank you once again to all the love and all the support that I receive on every video that I do upload. And I want to say a special shout out to the ones who hate on me, who stalk my page, who stalk my channel, and leave little nasty comments behind and then try to get my channel shut down. I'm gonna show you that I'm on that high vibration and I don't need to be on your low vibration, because obviously you're trying to be where I am, and that's a higher vibration, okay? But I promise you, you know, you're never gonna get there unless you get rid of all that negative vibes that surround you, okay? And with that being said, welcome to my channel. Once again, all right, let's get into this. Okay, this video is basically going to talk about the city of Atlanta. Okay, also dealing with the Boule. Now, the Boule originated in Philly. All right, but the headquarters are in Atlanta. Okay, and I think that's really important that I point that out, because here's where I'm going to get into the whole spiel of what I feel Atlanta is ground zero for the distraction, and ground zero for a lot of dysfunctional things that go on in and out of black families, black culture. All right. And I'm pretty sure if you haven't figured it out, you know, let's just get into this, okay? Now, I want to also remind people this too. All right, I'm not here to bash any type of community. I'm not here to criticize any type of community. It is what it is. You are what you are. You like what you like. All right. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to state facts and just, you know, let's just have my opinion. Last time I checked, I still am entitled to it, but you know, nonetheless, okay. All right. Like I said, this video is a long time coming, and it's going to go down some rabbit holes. It's going to be an eye opener for the most, but it's going to be a confirmation to some. But nonetheless, it's gonna talk about the truth. Okay, what goes on in this world, what's been going on. Um, let's talk about Black Hollywood, and what Black Hollywood I'm talking about, the city of Atlanta. Uh, this is a lot of spirituality connected with Atlanta. It being the origins of what might call it the city of Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis, even though it is a so-called mythological place. Some do believe and some do speculate that Atlanta is in reference to Atlantis. Okay. Well, you know, let's talk a little bit about the lost city of Atlantis and how it maybe has to do with the Anunnaki, because the city of Atlantis was allegedly, supposedly destroyed by other gods, and some say it was an Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki were a part of Atlantis. The Atlantean god Thought was thought to be a teacher and a healer, and as well as somebody that sought wisdom. Okay, now he had a brother, Marduk or Amun Ra, as you probably are familiar with that deity. He was thought to be evil Anunnaki god who forbid any type of knowledge such as wisdom, healing, uh, self empowerment, or whatever it has to do with self. He was definitely against that. Okay, he wanted people to bow down to him and worship him only. And if there was any other gods that interfere, he would be considered a jealous God. Now, you could take that as such, but this is a fact, okay? And you know where I'm going with this? Yes, it's in reference to if Amon-Ra was actually supposed to be the one in the Bible that we when we pray and we bow down, and the last thing we say when we praise this God is Amen. And that is exactly where the term Amen comes from. It comes from Amon-Ra. Okay? But like I said, it's a rabbit hole. You could do your own research, but I'm just going to go dib and dab back and forth with this, okay? Now, the Anunnaki gods, pardon me, thought him being a spiritual person, or spiritual god, excuse me, a spiritual god, one that believed in healing. He wanted to teach that to humans, and like I said, Amon-Ra forbid that. He didn't want that. Okay, so with that, it was a constant battle. One thing that I do want to point out too, and I'm gonna see this is kind of like where you gotta have your third eye open. Thought his spirit animal was an ibis bird, and an ibis bird predator is a hawk and a falcon. Now, the city of Atlanta has pro sports teams that are called the Hawks and the Falcons. Everyone's owned by Ted Turner. And I'm going to circle back and talk about Ted Turner a little bit later. Okay, let's get back into Black Hollywood. Now, Black Hollywood is controlled by several Boule members, aka uh, Sigma Pi Phi, okay, which is based in, like I said, they were originated in Philadelphia, but the headquarters is in Atlanta, Georgia, okay. The Boule, aka the Sigma Phi Pi, or Black Hollywood, they have several gatekeepers, they have ambassadors, they have these black celebrities that are put in place to carry out the agenda that they have planned for the black community or people of color. Okay, one of them being Tyler Perry. Okay, there's others such as Oprah Winfrey, Bill Cosby, Kobe, LeBron, Michael Jordan, and whether they be out in the open or in secret, they are definitely a part of the Boule. Okay. Now, I want to talk about Tyler Perry and how he wears the mask and the bodysuit. And I do believe that other celebrities definitely wear masks and bodysuits in this whole theatrical world, this whole world stage. But I'm going to talk about that in probably the next segment. But I wanted to first discuss the position and assignment for Black Hollywood, specifically Tyler Perry. Okay, now he owns a production studio in Atlanta, and it is built on 333 acres with 12 sound stage studios. Okay, now I'm not gonna do the gematria, I'm not gonna do the numerology, but you can figure it out that what that number is. Okay. Um, He also has his own Star Walk of Fame in Atlanta, just like they do in the original Hollywood. Now, Hollywood, the whole idea, whole concept of Hollywood, even the whole metaphor of the Hollywood tree and using it as a magic wand, it all means something, and it definitely is what Hollywood has been placing on us, and that is a spell through television to broadcasting. Okay, um, with it being broadcasting and the wearing a mask is particular in rituals and spell casting. Like I said, Tyler Perry, he wears mask for the majority of his career. That is how he lives his life, as far as what we see in front and on front stage, on the world stage. Okay, he portrays a character is sought over an overbearing, aggressive, yet endearing older black woman that he calls Madea. Now, he claims this character is based on his mother and aunt, but I don't agree with him, and I'm going to tell you why I don't believe. Okay, now there is a Greek um, mythological theater production, an ancient Greek one, that was called Medea. Okay, now that was spelling Medea. All right. This character was a witch who was cursed and took revenge by murdering her family, including her husband's mistress. Now, of course, this is a mythological story. However, when you unwrap it, you're going to see the comparison to Tyler Perry's Madea character, spelled Madea, and the role of the lunatic and control freak having a dysfunctional family, as well as generational curses. And this is exactly where those origins come from the Greek play. Um, Another thing too is all of Tyler Perry movies are made to where the character is a star, as far as even when Madea has nothing to do with the movie plot. It's also my personal opinion that with me being black and being raised primarily black all my life, okay, I never heard the term Madea. I have heard the words Madeir or, you know, Mother Dear, okay? It's actually short for Mother Dear, okay? Now that's old school, okay? My grandmother used to call her mother Mother, okay? That's how old school that is, okay? But like I said, I've never heard it pronounced Medea. That is something that Tyler Perry made up, and he tried to indoctrinate and let us believe that BS, okay? Because it has to be pronounced like the Greek mythological character he's based Medea on, okay? So if you look at how the characters go back and forth, and I'm going to place some pictures here on the screen to show you exactly how I'm comparing how Medea, his character, is almost mimicking the mythological character. Okay, so they go one and one. It's called theatrics. Okay, that casting of the spell that they're putting on us. Okay, um, now with Tyler Perry having such a high regard in the Boule, he owns stake in the BT networks. Okay, now they are owned and operated by non-people of color. Okay, and I think that's important that we know this because at one time they were owned by people of color. Now, it was stated that he tried to acquire the purchase of BET, but he was turned down, the same as Bill Cosby was denied in the 90s when he tried to purchase NBC. In other words, they have to stay in their place. You know, they're not going to let them. They're not going to let that happen. Okay. Um, they had other plans down the line, and I'm pretty sure that you could figure out how that worked with it being the first black president that we had. So, and that's another rabbit hole. Okay. Um, Philadelphia is the birthplace, like I said, of fraternity Sigma Pi Phi, aka the Boule. It's also the birthplace of Will Smith, Bill Cosby, Little Uzi Vert, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Hart, and a whole lot of other black celebrities. The same with Atlanta. Atlanta also has Jermaine Dupri, Martin Lawrence. Um, so I'm going to say that Atlanta, aka Black Hollywood, cannot exist without the existence of the Boule. Just like the Masons, every member must take an oath. They live by that oath, and it's either an open secret society, just like the Masons, how they're open but they're secret at the same time. We're never going to know what goes on, you know, down in the basement when they wear their cloaks and they're doing whatever. Um, but as far as black entertainment, as far as black entrepreneurs, black politicians, black people in general, black people in power, it all stems from Boule. Now, LeBron James may not be an openly Boule member, but he certainly has evidence of his on his tattoos. He definitely wants to show his loyalty with actual loyalty tattoo, and he also has a giffen, which is the same giffen that is on the Boule crust. Okay, and also the 330 as well. And I do believe he is definitely an ambassador. I'm talking about LeBron, and he's also a gatekeeper. Okay, he does a ritual every time he goes out and plays the sport. So, what does that tell you right there? Now, Jermaine Dupri, he is Atlanta born and also entrepreneur. But let me tell you something. Jermaine Dupri was not born rags to riches. He definitely was not. You know, some of you are not aware, but he has a father who was um, head of one of the record companies in Atlanta. So he was already in the business before he was in the business. Okay, so, but that's probably another video that I'm probably going to get into about him, because that's a whole nother world right there. A whole nother thing that talks about how he's an ambassador and a gatekeeper. Okay, but right now let's just keep this where we're just going to bring up all these other rabbit holes with Tyler Perry and Black Hollywood and Boule. Okay, now as I said, you cannot make it big unless you are signed the contract, and whether that be through the Boule, through the Masons, it's kind of pretty much the same. But the Boule goes a little bit deeper because, like I said, that is a whole black culture. That is something that is exclusively for black entertainment. It kind of looks like, okay, we have our own place, we have our own culture, and we're going to continue to be divided. Never to be incorporated with regular white Hollywood or regular white entrepreneurship as far as owning your own business. You're going to have some kind of incorporation with your own people, with our own people, black people, you know. But then again, you know, here's the downside with that. And I know you've heard it say, like, when black people are together, we don't get along, but when we're apart, we want to get along. Like, in other words, is that crabs in a barrel. Crabs in a barrel. We're always crabs in a barrel, and it's always like that with our people. Okay, and that might just because of, you know, the curse that some believe that is placed upon us, and I don't know, because I really don't want to go into that rabbit hole as far as being the cursed or the blessed or all that kind of stuff. I'm just putting out there what's already a fact and what I believe. Okay. Um, Now we unknowingly and willingly worship all these idols that I mentioned. The reality of living in this dream is false. You know, they, like I said, they want us to think that we could actually become something, be like them, you know, be like Mike. Okay, now I'm not saying that that's not possible, that somebody can't strike a rich. Okay, that may be a strong possibility, but the highly likelihood of you actually coming from the pits and raising to the top and making yourself a millionaire, even a billionaire, that is, I have never heard of that. Okay, I've never heard of that. Um, all I see it is on TV, like Oprah Winfrey, who says that she was born rags, who said she became this and that, but in reality, it's gonna go too far. They only let you go as far as they let you go. Okay. Now, like I said, let's get back into this, because I want to bring up this other person that has a lot to do with black culture, has definitely been an influence on black culture, and he's a part of black culture, but he's not black. And that person I'm talking about is Ted Turner. Okay, now, Ted Turner, he is the founder and once controlled all of news media and the first 24-hour news and cable broadcasting channels. Yes, I'm talking about CNN, okay, TNT, TBS, along with all the sister channels, all the major radio channel stations in Atlanta. And it's also important to remember that all low vibration frequencies are set to 440 hertz. That's just something to think about. So if this man has control over the broadcasting ears, you best believe that he's going to put all that low vibration out there. Okay. Um, Now I have to say this. I don't know if y'all may not even know this, but this billionaire Ted Turner, um, I guess that he's so powerful and sought to be so powerful that him owning and operating the broadcasting center that he has with that he had CNN, he took it as far as making a preloaded end of the world video that's supposed to be played at the event the world shall come to end. So my question is, who's going to hit play? If the world's coming to end and everybody's out of here, who is going to be pressing play? So that's just like something that just like what in the hell is going on? These people are that have the audacity, they have that much power that they could do that, be that arrogant to be like that way. Um, so like I said, if he has to have some type of stake in world dominance to have that type of control and power to say, you know what, I'm going to make a tape and there's something we could do about it, and I'm going to play it on my news channel when the world comes in. Okay. Now, it's also rumored that Ted Turner is allegedly the mystery man who bought and purchased the erection of the Georgia Guidestones. Okay, which is right there next to Atlanta. Um, and he also owned the Atlanta Hawks and other sports in Atlanta, major pro sports teams in Atlanta. So that's another key point to think about as well. If you have your third eye open, how is this man doing all this stuff? Is like he wants to have all the power and control, and almost like he wants to control all the black people. And I hate to say it that general, but that it is what it seems like to me, or what it seemed like. Okay. Um, During the time that Ted Turner bought and acquired his multi-billionaire news media platforms and purchased professional all the sports teams. Um, I don't know if it was just a coincidence, but this is also when the Atlanta child murders were happening. Um, Now listen to this. It happened. Listen to these numbers. It happened between 1979 and 1981, and the accused was Wayne Williams. Okay, which Wayne Williams was a black man. So you mean to tell me this black man is going killing all nothing but black children, or children of color? Um, Now W, which is the number 23 in the alphabet, so he's got Wayne Williams. So you just do that, the ones out there that want to do the gematria and gematria, you figure that one out, okay? Now, also, there were 30 children who passed away, all who were all persons of color, and the person supposed to be a person of color. I just thought, when I read this story, researched this story, I thought that was kind of, I just don't know, it just didn't make sense to me why a black man would kill any child. Number one, it doesn't matter what color, it really doesn't matter. I just don't understand basically why he would target black children if he was black. That would make sense. It doesn't make sense if he targeted any child, but I'm just saying that this made it clear that it was a black man, and not a white man that was taking revenge and killing all these black children. So they made it look like, okay, you know, here's this black man, he's taking out his own. So I just think that they did it that way so it wouldn't be an all-out long mystery. You know what I'm saying? That it'd just be like, oh, it would just increase to. It would just change their agenda that they had for the plans for black people. Okay, it's almost like it's a type of control. But like I said, that's a rabbit hole. You could do your own research. Like I said, I had to do my research on this because like this happened in 1981. Okay, not too many people are familiar with it or even remember it. Okay, something that's really not even talked about. I don't even know what happened to Wayne Williams because I really didn't find anything that happened to him. other than the fact that he was arrested. And that's really, I thought that was kind of odd too. Strange. It's almost like he disappeared. Um, doesn't say anything other than he was arrested, and it says the date that he was arrested, which was June 21st. Okay, 1981. Now, that right there, June 21st, is the start of the summer solstice. So that might just been the start of a ritual. It's like just stuff like that you have to think about. So, and also, like, I'm just trying to figure out. I think that was, if I'm calculating right, I'm just on top of my head. That's about 456 days after the guy stones were erected. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I'm just doing this in my head. I'm thinking that's, yeah, that's about right. Okay, because they were erected 1980, 1981, 456 days. Yeah. So, look, I'm not making any accusations. I'm only stating facts. Um, because all these people that run this world, they're all governed by the shadows of their invisible empire. Okay, they operate by numbers on the daily. So this is what they do. Okay, let's get back to talking about Tyler Perry and his persona and him allegedly being Will Smith in a bodysuit while he pretends to be a woman. Now this makes sense to me with Atlanta being on the 33rd parallel of the on the Earth. Okay, it's a part of illusion and all our perception. So I know that sounds like straight out of a science fiction movie or something like that, but if you do your research, if you look on a map, and especially if you look on the ones that if you're a globist, and I'm not one, by the way, I'm definitely believe in flat Earth, fermentation, yada yada, whatever. But there is still a 33rd parallel, and Atlanta goes right in the middle of it. Okay, and I do believe people have debunked this, and they have talked about this on other platforms or whatever. But I just think it's kind of strange how this is, and all this strange and stuff, and how Atlanta's got all this crazy stuff that's going on, especially when it's dealing with my black people, my black culture. Okay, because a lot of weird stuff happens. Okay, Atlanta is the gay capital of the world. The black gay capital of the world is also the capital of where black women have, or the majority of them have AIDS. Okay, now this is a study of fact, so I'm not stating it. I don't believe it to be true personally, as far as like, the AIDS thing, but they did make that a study, and they did make that statement. It's almost like they wanted to put that fear, to have that type of vibration going on. Okay, at the same time, got the vibration with the young black males, or the black males turning over to be a homosexual. Okay, um, but let's get back into talking about Tyler Perry and how I do believe that he is this character. Or excuse me, Will Smith is Tyler Perry. Now, you can call me crazy, you can label me crazy. I don't care, but you're still listening to what I have to say. But I think it's even crazier if you believe that any of these Hollywood actors, or any of these Hollywood entertainers, whatever, whether it be sports, entertainment, theater, movies, whatever, they are all put on a mask. Okay, they are all fooling us. They're all fooling you. It's all theatrics. Right now, you don't know if they are a man or woman. You don't know if they are black or white. You don't know anything about it because you don't know them personally. Just like I don't know them personally. But I do know from what my third eye lets me see, and for what's put in plain sight, you kind of like open up a lot of doors to figure out the clues that this person is really not who they say they are, or they're portraying something else. The clues are everywhere. Okay. I want to get back into this whole back and forth with Atlanta, and like I said, that's this how I told y'all this video was going to be full of rabbit holes. Cause I'm going back and forth. Okay. Have you ever traveled to Atlanta in their airport? I'm talking about like as far as maybe like had like a flight layover or just passing through. I had an experience with that, actually several experiences, but I have to tell you about my first experience that I had in Atlanta in the airport, and this is right during Hurricane Katrina, the same week as Hurricane Katrina. Because of the small storms and bad weather, a lot of flights were being grounded, and my flight was one of those. I was told that it was been around about 14 hours that we were stuck in the airport, but when we boarded, it actually seemed like it only been like maybe a couple hours, and not over the 12 like they had told me. And that's, just my own experience that I had. But what I found more intriguing is just that the whole airport thing, they have underground tunnels, they have underground transit system where you could go from gate to gate underneath the ground, okay, and also elevator that makes you go down to the ground. Now I got a chance to ride both of those. Now I'm going to tell you, I felt like I was going into another dimension. I felt strange. I felt eerie. I'm like, it was just a strange feeling that overwhelmed me. And like I said, this is back in 2005. This is before, um, it was before that I was really awakened, And actually, I was younger, so it didn't set well with me. So I was kind of feeling really weird. Okay, it just was a strange feeling, but I kind of like brushed it off. All right, and then, but like I said, when I got into the actual plane, and the people said, "Oh, we've been here." The flight attendant said, "Oh, it's been about 14 hours, man." I'm like, "What?" Like it didn't seem that long, but apparently it was. Okay, y'all. If you have been here for talking through my boring voice, thank you for sticking around. All right. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for constantly giving me support. And hey, y'all, that rabbit hole goes deep. Do your own research. This is just something that I feel that had to be said. This is my own opinion. And again, I'm out here. I'm not out here to offend anybody, any type of community, any type of lifestyle. I'm just stating facts and expressing my own opinion. With that said and done,